Hello there, good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on Nationwide. I'm Joseph Johnson. For President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to the state to deepen democratic gains for the citizenry, we will be joining Obehi in our Benin Network Center for update of his activities in the course of this bulletin. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has unveiled a new national water strategic program towards achieving sustainable water management and sanitation in the country. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure and a singular honor to launch the partnership.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo unveiling the national water policies and launch of partnership for expanded water supply, sanitation and hygiene. Nigeria, he says, did not meet the Millennium Development Goals for water and sanitation, despite successive governments and development partners' efforts due to lack of effective coordination and inability to harness the required funds.
Currently, statistics show that over 66 million Nigerians still lack access to safe water, while 110 million do not have adequate sanitation. Consequently, large numbers of children under the age of 5 die annually from diarrhea-related diseases, and these are mostly traceable to unsafe drinking water. The situation is even more depressing in the rural areas, where polluted ponds and streams remain the only sources of water for drinking and other household chores. This trend must change.
Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, says with the launch, it is expected that there will be a purposeful synergy of all activities in the sector.
The strength of the program is that it is designed to build on all ongoing efforts, as well as complement existing water supply and sanitation strategies by instituting a funding, scoping, coordination and monitoring framework for project delivery.
The state governments indeed are willing to partner in order to ensure availability of water in each corner of Nigeria.
Nobody is an island. Knowledge here, knowledge there. We continue to work together to ensure that the nation gets to where it's supposed to be.
The PWASH is a 15-year program that is divided into 3 phases. From the Yaradua Conference Center in Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Well, I've been told now that we have been able to establish links with our Benin Network Center, where Obehi will be telling us about President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to the state to deepen democratic gains for the citizenry. Obehi, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Joseph, and welcome to Benin. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewa II, has commended the various initiatives by the federal government to revive the economy. Receiving President Muhammadu Buhari in his palace, Oba Ewa asks for more federal government's presence in the state. Ogochukwu Kaona reports.
President Buhari is the first to visit the Oba officially since his coronation. The Oba commended the federal government for the effort in restoring peace in different parts of the country while acknowledging the achievements of Governor Adams Oshomole.
I would like to reiterate my earlier appeal to the federal government under the able leadership of Mr. President for support in the transformation of Gele into an export processing zone, especially for agro-allied industries. This should in no small measure create employment for our teeming unemployed youths, promote more business activities in the state, and by logical extension, contribute positively to the economy of the country.
President Muhammadu Buhari assured Nigerians of a prosperous economy, the current challenges notwithstanding. He congratulated Edo State for the APC victory at the polls, which will ensure continuity in governance and enhance development.
This is the second time he's invited me to come, or third time that to commission his effort in spite of the economic downturn in the country. We hope the APC will look for a place for him. We will not allow him to go back to the labor. He is too powerful to go back to labor.
In Benin, Ogochkuka Ona, NT News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has lauded the choice by Governor Adams Oshomole to sacrifice personal comfort to give his people a state-of-the-art medical facility. Inaugurating the new 200-bed Central Hospital complex in Benin, the president said he is impressed with the edifice. Agatha Igwariojo reports.
The Central Hospital was first built in 1902 with just 10 beds. It has grown over the years to accommodate 280 beds and also involve in training of undergraduate and postgraduate health personnel. Today, this new complex has additional 200 beds and is well equipped. President Buhari inspected the facility. He was impressed with what he saw.
I respect the sacrifice of his personal comfort. Instead of building a government house, he decided to build this hospital. In any case, knowing him as we do, if he builds the government house, he will spend most of the time outside it. So he may as well build the hospital, where I think we will keep on praying for him up to the end of his life.
For Governor Oshomole, no need to waste time lamenting on the loss incurred from medical tourism. He says practical steps must be taken to put things on ground.
Subject to what the next governor will do, my position is that this hospital will not be run in the way that the public service is run. Doctors will not be paid on the basis of prescribed salary that does not discriminate between doctors who work and doctors who doesn't. From what we see elsewhere, you are paid according to your productivity.
The people are overwhelmed by not just the outlook, but the interior of the complex.
And I hope we'll value it and put it to good use.
What me see for here today, it surprised me. Me never think said they would see this kind of thing for Benin.
With the huge investment, not just in the building, but the facilities in this hospital, this project seeks to put an end to medical tourism in Nigeria. And of course, it is affordable to the rich and the poor. In Benin, Agatha Igwariojo, NTA News.
Thank you, Agatha. And now away from the president's visit to Edo State. The Nigerian Air Force is poised to make the welfare of men and officers of the force a priority. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, gave his indication while inaugurating a block of flats for the accommodation of the officers of the 81 Air Maritime Group in Benin. Steve Lonai-Wonkulu reports.
Operating the block of flats in company of the state governor, Adams Oshomole, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar said as he strives to reposition the Air Force to make it operationally efficient and professionally active, there is the need to ensure the welfare of the personnel of the force.
The sustained vigor in responding to the welfare needs of personnel is a clear indication of our resolve to ensure that our officers and airmen have decent accommodation so that they can focus on their task at hand and effectively respond to Nigeria's national security challenges.
As far as the government of Edo State is concerned, the armed forces that are present in this state are part and parcel of the Edo society.
Commander 81 Air Maritime Group, Benin, Group Captain Enebo Efyong, expressed gratitude for the pragmatic approach of the Chief of Air Staff to issues affecting the personnel and charged men of the command to reciprocate the gesture. The Air Chief, who on arrival inspected a guard of honor mounted by the quarter guards, was conducted around the officers' mess, where he inspected facilities including a plot of land for the purpose of hospital project and the airplane hangar of the command. In Benin, Steve Lonai-Wonkulu, NTA News.
And that's our package from Benin. Joseph, it's over to you now for continuation of Nationwide News.
Thank you, Behi. President Muhammadu Buhari says the sacrifices of fallen officers and men in the war against terrorism in Nigeria will never go in vain, and that their memories would be eternally attached in the hearts and minds of fellow citizens for whose sake they laid down their lives. Reacting to the death of Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali, one of Nigeria's finest and bravest soldiers in recent history, President Buhari, in a condolence statement issued by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, said the news of the officer's death, along with other gallant soldiers during an encounter with Boko Haram bandits in Borno State, was a rude shock. The president explained that the late Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali was an extraordinary officer who inspired respect and adoration among those he commended. President Buhari, who personally called late Colonel Ali's father, Brigadier General Abu Ali, retired to console the family, reassured them that the death of the fallen heroes would never go in vain. Meanwhile, the president has appointed a high-powered delegation led by Chief of Staff Abba Yari, including the Minister of the FCT, Muhammad Bello, to represent him at the funeral of late Colonel Abu Ali and others today, Monday, 7th November 2016. Meanwhile, the Defense Minister Mansur Mohammed Dan Ali has described the death of Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali's tragic and unfortunate development in the threat of operation. The minister in a statement said he received the sad news while in Sokoto and prayed to Almighty Allah to grant the war hero an eternal rest. Defense Minister described Lieutenant Colonel Abu Ali as a major pillar in the war against terrorism and insurgency in the northeast. He also expresses his condolences to the father of the deceased, Brigadier General Abu Ali, retired, his young family and the Nigerian Army. To the legislature now, where the House of Representatives Committee on Iron and Steel says it will continue to interface with the federal government to ensure full operation of Itakpe and Ajaokuta steel companies. It was at an interactive session with interest groups on the matter. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The meeting focused on how best to ensure that the Ajaokuta Steel Plant and the Itakpe National Iron Ore Mining Company commence operation in compliance with the agreement reached between the federal government and the Global Infrastructure Nigeria Limited. Representatives of the concerns urged the committee to ensure workers and the host communities are not shortchanged in the implementation process.
Just so you know, position is that federal government should severe all workers. At all levels of discussions, we should be carried along that our sons and daughters should be given employment. And thirdly, the corporate social responsibility that is supposed to be done, that has not been done since the inception of Itakpe, should please be inculcated in what you have, sir.
The committee members are hopeful that things would be done differently this time.
This is a new government. Eyes have already opened. They've suffered us enough. They cannot come back as global infrastructure in another form and expect that what they had at that time will be the same they are going to have. No, sir.
Considering the importance of Ajaokuta Steel Company to the economic diversification drive of the federal government, both parties resolved to work together as full operation of the plant will boost the capacity of locally manufactured goods. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And Deputy Speaker Yusuf Lasun has sought the assistance of German Parliament in repatriating Nigeria's looted funds. Lasun, who granted audience to a delegation from the German Parliament, identified education and skills acquisition as possible areas of collaboration. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo has details.
The visit of the German legislators provided the platform for the Deputy Speaker to table some areas in which Germany can be of help to Nigeria, such as education, restoring peace in the Niger Delta, and most importantly, assisting Nigeria to rebuild the Northeast.
Intensive investment in agriculture, exploitation of our solid mineral resources, any country that comes up to come and partner with us in these two areas, yes, we'll definitely enjoy our cooperation.
In the past, our interest has been in Asia, but right now it is in Africa, and we have keen interest in Nigeria's economy.
It was a visiting day for the German delegation as they also visited the House Committees on Basic Education and Services and that of Women in Parliament, where partnership in education was also re-echoed.
But we still have the challenge of boy child not being sent to school in the southeast. Ditto for the girl child education in the north.
The interactive session was quite interesting because we have learned a lot.
We must look at the binational commission, the areas of collaboration, the areas of engagement.
The visit is part of measures to build a vibrant Nigeria-Germany parliamentary friendship. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In other news, some children orphaned by insurgency are set to be housed in Abuja. Wives of Niger and Kebbi State governors at a foundation laying of their home said the initiative is aimed at complementing government efforts towards providing succor to the displaced children. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Statistics from the third displacement matrix of the International Organization for Migration indicates that over 1 million people are still displaced, with about 50% as orphans due to the insurgency in the northeast. Halal Orphanage has before now been rehabilitating and reintegrating the orphans, abused and abandoned children into the society.
Children from all spheres of the society, from all tribes. In fact, we have at least 2 or 3 people from the east.
Feed the poor as how they feed me. How I try to help them as how they help me in life too.
Speakers at the event commended President Muhammadu Buhari's determination to restore peace in the region and make life better for all Nigerians.
To helping these children, nurture them to become great citizens and of Nigeria.
To help those children, it's a credible and laudable effort that should be supported by all and sundry.
And also you guard the society, because when we have so many of these people who do not have anything, then how can you sleep with your eyes closed?
They appealed to Nigerians to support government's efforts in all its activities for a better Nigeria. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
Medical experts advocate more funds for research. Details and more with Vera in our Lagos studio. Hello, Vera.
Thank you, Joseph. Good evening and welcome to Lagos. The Federal Road Safety Commission has appealed to motorists on Lagos-Ibadan expressway to cooperate with traffic officials deployed by the Commission to manage traffic at the location of diversion on the expressway. A section of the expressway has been closed to traffic to allow reconstruction work presently ongoing, leading to diversion of traffic to the lane. The Corps Marshal Boboyo Yoyemi, who inspected the traffic situation, said there is need for motorists to be patient and properly plan their journey for the duration of the diversion.
The construction work is going on Lagos-Ibadan, and 2 days ago we issued a traffic alert in respect of the partial closure of just a section of the road from the Shagamu-Itachi coming towards Lagos. The essence of this is that the construction company wants to do the final asphalt overlay on the road, and they need to partially close that section, which is just 5 kilometers. So we have to issue traffic alert. The essence is that we are moving towards the dry season. The tempo of work has increased, and the construction companies have asked for support from both the client, the Federal Ministry of Power Works and Housing, and FRSC to enable them to do the correct thing so that they can increase the pace of work. We want to appeal to the public to bear with these developments, because when the road is closed, there will be some strains in respect of this. We sustain this strain and ensure that the road users need to plan their journey. So the Lagos-Ibadan is not completely closed, just a 5 kilometer to enable them do the correct thing. We are working with them.
The diversion is scheduled to last for 12 days for the closed section to be completed. The Nigerian Navy offshore patrol vessel, Nigerian Navy ship NS Unity, which has been under construction in China, has arrived to Nigeria. The Chief of Naval Staff, Rear Admiral Ibok Ibas, who received the ship and crew at the Naval dockyard on Victoria Island in Lagos, stated that the newly acquired ship will strengthen efforts against all maritime crimes and illegalities in Nigerian territorial waters and the Gulf of Guinea. Ken Egbelue has details.
The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Unity departed China on the 21st September this year. She was received by the Chief of the Naval Staff and senior officers of the Nigerian Navy. This addition of the ship to the fleet of the Navy, the Chief of the Naval Staff noted, will further enhance the Nigerian Navy effectiveness and responsiveness to the maritime security challenges within Nigeria's territorial waters.
Now that we have her here, it means we expect the Navy to up its game. We expect the Navy to show more presence at sea. Her being here has further boosted the capacity of the Navy, to keep surveillance over our waters and to, if necessary, respond to whatever threats we have out there.
72 crew members were on board the ship, comprising 18 officers and 54 ratings. The commanding officer of the ship said the patrol vessel has the capacity to ward off attacks and is fitted with an helicopter base. The offshore patrol vessel is expected to be deployed for routine patrol of the nation's territorial waters after commissioning. In Lagos, Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
In order to overcome the challenges in the health sector, there is need for government to earmark more funds on research as a way of finding solution to it. This was the submission of medical experts at a lecture organized by the Lagos State University College of Medicine, Lagos. Hingino John Adams has details.
The challenges faced in recent time by many developing countries are due to lack of quality research, especially in the academia. It is against this backdrop that professors in the medical sector called for urgent attention of the government on the need to make available more grants for research in the country as a way of improving the economy.
The Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences is looking at the possibility of our country getting involved in cutting-edge research that is relevant, research that will solve the problems of the country.
Groundbreaking research that will solve the problems in Nigeria. They don't necessarily have to be technologically intensive because a lot of the problems we have are still so basic.
Highlighting some of the challenges facing research in the country and the way forward, keynote speakers at the lecture pointed out that lack of enabling environment, poor salary, insufficient funds for research, inadequate infrastructure, poor career structure, among others, have contributed to poor research projects in the country.
We have problems of the economy, dwindling economy. We have problems with lights, provision of lights. We have problems with some policies.
And that's why you have what is called the town and the gown. This is the gown. You see, I'm putting on the gown now. Whatever we do here must be relevant to the town. And that's cutting-edge research.
The lecture with the theme, Cutting-Edge Research in Basic Medical Sciences as a Tool to Overcome the Challenges in a Dwindling Economy, is aimed at urging government, individuals, and private organizations to support the health sector in order to achieve groundbreaking research for the development of the country. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Joseph, for more on Nationwide News.
Vera from our Lagos Network Center there. You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store. That's, of course, if you use devices with iOS. Achieving livable settlements in Nigeria has been related to the Development Index, planning professionalism and city administration, among other factors. Professionals in the field of town planning explained this rationale on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria while looking at the issues. Omotola has details.
The discussants noted the deficiencies in livability of communities in Nigeria as a result of non-implementation of policies that allow for planning to thrive. They also noted the need for political will and elimination of corruption within the system.
The spatial policy framework should be there for government to really be able to link whatever resources we have into what comes on ground.
What the Nigeria needs as a form of this livable city is essentially a mayoral system where you can have good governance, good urban governance.
Planners are part of the society. There are some of them that are really erring and should be removed out of the system because they've contributed in a lot of ways. When you come to write this check, they will say, no, put a dot here, add this. Or even after you've done the layouts, they add their own and adulterate the check. And at the end of the day, mistakes. And they say, no, blame the politicians.
The discussants advocated for government at all levels to give attention to professionalism in the area of planning and budget appropriately for inclusive development.
We have the professional planners that Nigeria has is just less than 4,500. If you take this, you have one town planner to about 50 or 60,000 people. If you go to the Development Control Department, you have more administrative staff than the professionals.
So what is important is citywide administration. We had it before the local government reform. That's why we used to have city council in Lagos, in Kano and other places. The second aspect I want to emphasize exactly, city administrations should put data, urban management information system.
The place of members of the society as stakeholders in the development of their communities was also stated. In Abuja, Omotola Omojola, NTA News.
Let's now turn our attention to Kaduna Network Center, where Suleiman is standing by to bring us the latest in that zone. Suleiman.
Thank you very much and welcome. There is now free flow of traffic on the Kaduna-Kano highway following completion of reconstruction of bridge at Jaji, which had obstructed traffic for months. Austin Anyebe reports that motorists were happy with the quick intervention by the federal government.
At last, motorists plying Kaduna-Zaria-Kano road have a sigh of relief.
With the reopening of the lane from Jaji to Zaria, the contract for the reconstruction of the bridge awarded by the federal government in August this year brought untold suffering to motorists and recorded quite a number of accidents, with most of the victims residents of Jaji community. With the reopening of the portion of the highway, they have reached a relief.
We are very happy to it now.
We lost many people there. Yes, but now I think everything will be reduced.
The reconstructed bridge is said to be a modern one with enhanced carrying capacity.
A new standard which can carry the heavy loads that is traveling in the country.
The Federal Controller of Works in Kaduna, Sir Tukur, expressed his gratitude to the government for the timely release of funds for the project and the relevant stakeholders, including Federal Road Safety Commission, officers of the Armed Forces, Kaduna State Government, and members of Jaji community for their cooperation when the road was blocked.
Now we want to thank Mr. President and our Honorable Minister, who actually took his time to search for the money and then got Mr. President's approval to award the contract within the shortest possible period.
The reconstruction of the bridge cost the federal government 48 million naira in Kaduna. Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The General Officer commanding one division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Adeni Oyebade, has convened a stakeholders meeting attended by warring parties in the southern part of Kaduna State to bring to an end attacks and reprisals recurring in the area. Muhammad Lol Baba completes the story.
Lasted for more than 5 hours, had in attendance Commissioner of Police Kaduna State, other top military officers, traditional rulers of southern Kaduna extraction, including Chief of Godo, National President Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, the heads of Fulani communities, and other stakeholders. Major General Adeni Oyebade is the General Officer commanding one division.
Blocking the main road, the highway, with the purpose of stopping vehicles from plying those roads with the intention of profiling the passengers in such buses, that action would desist immediately.
Resolutions reached include stoppage of children from grazing cattle, having identified such as one of the sources of farmers and herdsmen clash, setting up of peace and reconciliation committees at the ward, district, and local government levels, and handling weapons by shepherds is also prohibited.
The security officers and agencies will take decisive action against any group that violates this decision.
It will be recalled that attacks and reprisal attacks have become perennial in the southern part of Kaduna between suspected Fulani herdsmen and farmers. In Kaduna, Muhammad Lawal Baba, NTA News.
Recently, Jigawa state government introduced cluster farming to boost food production and achieve sustainable agricultural development. Beneficiaries in Dutse expressed delight over the bumper harvest witnessed under the program this year. Salis Aminu has the details.
Cluster farming is an agricultural policy introduced by Jigawa state government whereby farmers are formed into groups and supported with improved seeds, fertilizer and agricultural extension workers. Some groundnut farmers in Koyama village, Dutse local government area of Jigawa state, expressed satisfaction with bumper harvest witnessed under the program. They also commended Jigawa state government for the effort, which they say will go a long way in achieving food security and agricultural development. Rice farmers in Kwadia and Baranda villages said they experienced shortage of water at the rain stop while their farm products at the production stage. Chairman Jigawa State All Farmers Association Alhaji Idris Ungwa said the project encouraged farmers to put more effort in crop production.
And we farmers in Nigeria, we accept this program.
Jigawa State Deputy Governor Ibrahim Hassan Hadeja said the cluster farming was introduced to change farmers' mind from subsistence to commercial farming.
By the time you provide these farmers with the inputs on credit from JASCO, quality inputs, quality seeds, and then you deduct the cost of that those inputs at the time of harvest and find them a market. First of all, you have improved their yield. From 4 tons, they are getting 8 tons. From 5 tons, they are getting 8.5 tons. You have also improved the market price at which they will struggle to go and pay to agents.
He stated government determination to expand the program for other farmers to benefit. From Dutse, Salis Aminu, NTA News.
And with that report, it's back to you for more on the Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Suleiman. Stay with us here in NTA News Nationwide if you can. We have more stories for you just after the break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
It is the most coveted seat on the planet, and there is no love lost between the contestants. The world's most celebrated democracy faces its biggest test so far. Who will be the next occupant of the White House? Keep a date with NTA on November 8 for the unique African coverage of the race to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Will Clinton clinch the Trump card? America decides. NTA's all-night coverage of the 2016 U.S. presidential election. America decides, she or he.
Caroline, have you gone Higo? Have you gone Wacko? Have you gone bananas?
Ah, only you.
4 wraps of fufu, 3 big meat, 1 full plate of ikwobi.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Yomi Fash Lanso, MC for God, Stephen Odingbe.
Young man, I only got up to go and pee. You want to go and pee, Abi? And you are doing like Olongini, pussycat.
What exactly is wrong with this car? I don't know what is wrong with it. I can fix your car.
Professor John Bull, fasten your seatbelts this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and out. The largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded, and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is porting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. Go to so let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogeruola. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching NTA Nationwide. Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark 2016 World Radiography Day, observed every November 8. Radiography, a branch of science that deals with X-rays, has changed the way the world looks at diagnostic. The ultrasound is probably one of the most commonly known methods of radiography, but it goes beyond that. Radiotherapy is used to treat patients with cancer, radiation therapy, MRI scan, and even bone dysplasia. The Registrar of Radiographers Registration Board of Nigeria, Mr. Michael Okbalege, earlier on NTS News Panorama, speaks on the role of radiography in medicine.
Used to diagnose and treat diseases in the health sector, especially treating diseases that relate to cancer. That's where radiography finds relevant the health sector in terms of treatment. But for diagnosis, radiographers use X-rays, ultrasound, MRI, computed tomography, imaging, all to diagnose diseases that are not readily seen by laboratory processes.
The focus this year is on breast imaging. The Nigeria Postal Service (NIPOST) has joined the anti-corruption campaign of the present administration with the launch of a special anti-corruption postage stamp. In a message to the event, President Muhammadu Buhari reiterated government's commitment to deliver on campaign promises by providing good governance, principles of accountability, as well as fighting corruption. Ruben Okala reports.
Nigeria's official stamps were issued on 1st July 1914 with the amalgamation of the northern and southern protectorates. Its collection and practice, known as philately, aids learning, used as remembrance of important events, as well as revenue generation and legalizing transactions. Regarded as one of the most effective means of public relation tools, necessitated the launch of the anti-corruption postage stamps.
I challenge other agencies of government to join and intensify efforts on the fight against corruption, as the Nigerian Postal Service has demonstrated today. Nigerians and the international community are invited to procure these stamps and not the messages conveyed by them.
The Minister of Communication and Postmaster General were categorical on the essence of the campaign.
Anti-corruption stamps is therefore apt and a reflection of the zeal of the people of this nation to eliminate corrupt practices from the polity.
Will be part of the legacy of this government to further put on record is zero tolerance for corruption.
When you post a letter to anywhere, you have to use Nigerian stamps, and it will land there. And the people will know that we have started a war against corruption.
NIPOS says, by this presentation, the anti-corruption crusade of Mr. President is now domiciled in the 193 member countries of the Universal Postal Union, IPU, and beyond. Ruben Okala, NTA News.
Thank you, Ruben. Correspondent on Sultan Abubakar's 10-year anniversary as we join Zainab in our Sokoto Network Center.
Waziri Tambol commended the committee for a job well done.
Tambol of Sokoto State says his administration will work towards making Sokoto State University the best in West Africa. He was speaking while receiving a report on Sokoto State University from the visitation panel at the Government House, Sokoto. Muhammad Nasir reports.
The visitation panel on Sokoto State University was set up with a view to looking into the challenges and activities of the university. Receiving the report of the visitation panel on Sokoto State University, Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol commended the committee for a job well done. He said the report will be keenly studied and implemented to make the university great and time citadel of learning.
We shall also deploy whatever actionable measures we need to take to ensure that this university do not only implement this report, but this university turns out to be one of the best around here, and particularly in West Africa.
Chairman Visitation Panel on Sokoto State University, Professor Lowell Bilbis, said they worked carefully and mindful of the panel terms of reference. He said the committee had offered recommendations that will make the university great. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
The line of activities marking the 10th anniversary of Sultan Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar III and the unprecedented crowd that thronged Sokoto to witness the event made it one of the biggest events in recent times. Dalhatu Abdullah has sampled remarks made by those who spoke on the caliphate and the Sultan, who symbolizes peace and unity in Nigeria.
It's a show of unity and solidarity. You know, the turnout is very impressive, and it shows the unity of purpose, unity in the country.
In every respect, you can count him in the as a flag bearer in helping to solidify unity of Muslims and Christians in this country.
Sokoto Caliphate is a great caliphate. It's well known all over the world. That's why we're here.
The caliphate collapsed in 1903, over 100 years ago, but the spirit of the caliphate still lives on in terms of the principles of justice, peace, equity, and it has contributed tremendously to Nigeria.
I'm pleased to be associated with His Eminence, the Sultan.
He has achieved so much in the sense of bringing the two religions together. He has done so much in inter-religious activities in this country that everyone, will tell you. He has contributed so much in the fight to eradicate polio.
Not only for the Muslims alone, and not only for the northern state or Sokoto or the caliphate, he's a pillar in the country as a whole.
The Sultan of Sokoto spent only 10 years. During these 10 years, he faced so many challenges. and he has been able to cement differences, religious differences, ethnic differences, cultural differences. He has been able to bring Nigerians together to love one another.
He has been working very hard to try to solve some of the problems within the Islamic communities and the Muslim community with the non-Muslim community.
Speakers generally described Sokoto Caliphate as the longest religious and political entity in the whole of West Africa. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Joseph. Good afternoon.
Thank you to Religious Matters. Now, the parish priest St. Benedict's Catholic Church, Lagos-Ibadan, Abuja, Reverend Father Tom Asen, has called on spiritual leaders to always give believers hope that it will be better, and to political leaders to invoke programs that can bring the nation out of recession for the nation to be great. This was at a service to mark the congregation's Harvest Thanksgiving. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The Harvest and Bazaar, which is an annual event, has as its theme, Harvest of Divine Mercy and Possession. Reverend Father Asen also challenged Christians never to lose hope in God.
Jesus tells us in the Bible that anyone that wants to follow me, to follow him, they should deny themselves and carry their cross and follow him. So what we are passing through is part of those challenges which Christ reminded us of.
Give our leaders the right minds to lead us aright.
Bishop Osaretin Ben Naigbe of Freedom in Christ Mission International, who said God is the controller of the world, told Christians to turn to God so that he can heal the nation.
Right now, it's like there is no rain. But he said, if my people that are called by my name will humble themselves, turn from their wicked way, say, I will hear in heaven and I will heal their land.
This recession will go behind Nigeria and our economy shall bounce back.
Embrace God and to watch and pray.
That togetherness in terms of reflecting on the goodness of the Lord from January till now.
At the Ekwa annual Thanksgiving service, Pastor Dominic Hakuri told believers that God has a purpose for everything on earth, adding that Nigerians should be patient, for it shall be well.
Whatever happen in anyone's life, you should learn how to give thanks to God.
Prayers were offered for God's intervention and grace upon the nation. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NT News.
A bit on security. The Nigerian Army has stressed the need for media organizations, especially online outfits, to be cautious when handling defense and security issues. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Burate, said this at seminar on Boko Haram insurgency organized by the Nigerian Army to the Source Center, Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa tells us more.
The Nigerian Army indicates that from 2009 to date, more than 20,000 people in northeast Nigeria have been killed and millions from Nigeria and neighboring countries displaced. To provide solutions to emerging security challenges, the Army Resource Center was established in 2015. In line with its mandate, the seminar with members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors and a delegation from Atlantic Council's Africa Center, the platform seeks to assess and appraise the role of the Nigerian Army in handling Boko Haram and to strengthen relations among its partners.
Call on Nigerians, the Nigerian press generally, especially the online media, to take note that if they are Nigerians, they should behave like Nigerians, be patriotic, and take the issue of defense and security as their personal issue.
The delegation from African Center and editors will be visiting Army's theater of operation in northeast Nigeria.
I believe that there are few fights currently going on in the world today that are as important not only to Nigeria, but to its neighbors and to the international community as the repressing of this terrorist violence.
We're very encouraged by the news we're hearing. Besides the accusation of human rights violations, which obviously, that has been watered down a lot now because we are aware that the violations are really from the Boko Haram terrorists, not from the Nigerian troops.
The one-day seminar is with the theme, Assessing the Threats of Boko Haram Insurgency in Nigeria. From the Nigerian Army Resource Center, Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, turning to Borno State, where after several years of devastation of the education sector by the Boko Haram insurgents, the state is fast trying to regain its long history of learning with the establishment of a state university in Maiduguri. Franca Uzoma-Olua reports that Governor Kashim Shettima received certificate of recognition from the National Universities Commission for the new university.
In the last 6 years, Borno State has suffered a huge setback in the education sector with the destruction of more than 500 primary schools and killing of many teachers by the Boko Haram insurgents. The establishment of Borno State University Maiduguri as the 35th state university in Nigeria is expected to rebuild confidence in the education sector. With a 3.14 billion naira contract for the establishment of faculties of arts, social sciences, education and others, Governor Kashim Shettima says the university has the requirements needed to commence academic activities in January 2017.
We shall continue to invest heavily on education. Borno has 7 tertiary institutions, and despite the Boko Haram insurgency and its huge financial impacts, we are in the category of states that pay the best salaries to tertiary workers.
Having satisfied the National Universities Commission standards in the areas of university law, academic brief and master plan, the Executive Secretary NUC says the institution is good to go.
We are also sending a copy of this letter to the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, our neighbor, TET Fund, so that they can enlist it in the 2017 allocations for Borno State.
Borno State is a center of learning. We have been in education in centuries before any other civilization came to Nigeria.
The establishment of Borno State University Maiduguri brings the total number of universities in Nigeria to 144. Franca Uzoma-Olua, NTA News.
It's high time we updated you with sports news. Nigeria's Golden Eaglets are consoled with competition in South Korea. Amanzi Marcos tells us all about it.
After failing to qualify for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, Nigeria's national Under-17 team depart Lagos for South Korea on Monday for the Four Nations Won Invitational. A team of 22 players led by Coach Garba Manu began their campaign for the Under-19 Continental Cup against England on Wednesday before taking on Iran on Thursday and hosts South Korea on Saturday. Kenya's Mary Keitany ran to her third consecutive victory of the New York City Marathon on Sunday in 2 hours 24.26 seconds. The 34-year-old mother of two pulled away from her rivals before the 10-mile mark, finishing completely out of sight of the rest of the field. The men's race was won by 20-year-old Eritrean Girmay Gebreselassie, who pulled away from a tight pack of 3 at mile 20 as he won in 2 hours 7.51 seconds, making him the youngest winner in the history of the marathon. Andy Murray has been speaking about his new status as world number 1 ahead of the final tournament of the season at home in London.
Normally when I'm nervous, that suggests you're gonna play well. It might be difficult at the beginning of the match, but it shows that you're really up for it.
Novak Djokovic is now second in the top 10, followed by Stan Wawrinka in third. Gael Monfils is in 6th position, while Rafael Nadal is in number 8, with Roger Federer again out of the top 10. With Sports Update, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
And just before we go, let's quickly remind you that you can get all our stories and much more when you log on to our website, www.nta.ng.